This episode of Sean and John was recorded on January 11th, 2016.
Recomendita la seppellectentistoi anstata ol mangi vitron estas Sean and John kun Sean kai Sean.
Blah, blah.
Who is that?
That's a friend of mine named Paul, and he speaks Esperanto.
He sounds like a Paul. Doesn't he sound like a Paul to you?
He does sound like a Paul.
He's one of those
More of
guys
like a Jorge.
who plays like 4 instruments, speaks 5 languages.
I would have thought Jesus.
And he owns a cat. I bet you didn't guess that one either.
Oh, no, he's totally a cat
Yeah, totally a
guy.
cat guy. So, hey, everybody, welcome to Sean and John. I'm John.
I'm Sean.
And I am Amanda.
And so Amanda's back again this week. And last week, if you didn't listen to it, go listen to it.
Stop
yeah.
right now and listen to the first
so
one.
we'll wait here.
Right now.
Ignorant
Thank
assholes.
you
Very much to something.
Need somebody with
The
the human touch.
Spice Girls?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Don't act like you don't know that. Like he asked you like it was a question.
No, I was pretty
you should
sure.
have
We're
said
gonna get,
Spice
like,
Girls, not
copyright
Spice Girls.
No, but I, it would
Spice
that
Girls.
could have been one of those things where it was like All Saints or
No,
one of those
you
other
know very
90s
All
well it
Saints
was
didn't make
Spice
it that
Girls,
big.
John.
Nobody remembers an All Saints lyric.
Yeah, the beach. Take you to the beach. It's a something
That was All Saints?
out of reach.
John, we can just go in his bedroom. He has the whole collection.
No, you know what? It's actually a song that it was on like Grand Theft Auto 5, and when it played, I was like, oh, this is the song from The Beach, and it was the All Saints, and I think they were.
No, you're more like, oh, this
and
was
I had
my
a mega crush on the
childhood.
black girl. And that's all I remember. I'll tell you this about Spice Girls, though.
Mm-hmm.
My first year of university, myself and 3, I think, other guys actually went and saw the Spice Girls movie. We drank way too much and decided, for whatever reason, let's go see the Spice Girls movie in the theater right now. Let's pay real money and go see that. And I got to tell you,
Were you the only ones in the theater?
no, there was like probably a dozen other people.
A dozen
They're all
teenage girls.
13-year-old girls.
No, we went to like the late show, so it was
This is great, isn't it?
It was all kind of like couples or the occasional alone old guy who was like, I love ginger spice.
Gross. Of course.
It wasn't that bad.
Were they all named a spice? Ginger Spice and
Sporty.
no-
I've never had Sporty Spice in myself.
or Scary. Yeah, there was Scary
Spice,
Spice.
Baby Spice.
So Ginger
Spice.
Spice was the only real spice.
Yeah.
No, but Ginger Spice started as Sexy Spice.
Yes.
Right, but you don't have
apparently-
Sexy Spice in your spice
Apparently,
cabinet.
the reason why they got all these names is
She's not a
because
spice.
one reporter did like this article, like one, I don't know, BBC or somebody, like some English reporter. Okay, I'm back.
Wait.
some-
Ginger's not a spice?
No, ginger's
Some English-
a root.
Some English reporter like did called them all by their like Sexy Spice, Baby Spice, whatever.
Okay.
And then they were just like, these are great names. Let's do
Don't
it.
you think they should have
worked,
been
though.
spices? Like,
Paprika, thyme,
Oregano.
salt. No, salt is spice.
Cumin.
No, salt's a mineral. Pepper. Yeah, cumin.
But yeah, and then
Cumin
Scary
spice.
Spice would be Pepper Spice
Pepper's-
because everybody's
Pepper Spice.
racist.
Yeah.
that was his paper.
Cumin.
yeah. Scary Spice. Let me guess, I'm Pepper.
I want to see dillweed spice. Hey guys, that's dillweed spice. That's his name.
You sound like
Salt.
a dillweed.
Yeah.
Anyways, let's
much.
crack this beer.
Oh yeah, let's have another beer.
This is John's favorite, right? It is Granville Island.
It's a winter ale. Do you know what it was?
It's crack.
Bartender over here.
Let's not
Doing it with his
ruin those
hands.
whiteout nails that you're talking
Hey,
about.
there's no white out on my nails.
Hey,
Is that a thing?
reference? Yeah,
do girls actually do that?
reference stuff that we
I
talked
may
about
have-
when we weren't recording, guys. The audience loves
When
that.
I was like 12, and I had to.
I'm a grown
I got
woman.
I got a day like taking care of the principal's office for whatever reason. I was being the receptionist for a day. I don't know what it was.
And you were
I don't know
12?
why. Yeah, no, I don't know why they got like.
Were you doing the
girls from
payroll?
school.
Everyone gets a raise.
They got girls from like the grade 8 class or whatever to like hang out in the principal's office. I don't know why. Anyways,
now that sounds wrong.
but I was and,
those papers.
I was just
From the bottom
ew.
shelf.
Yeah, okay, that would explain a lot of my personality if that happened.
envelope.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I probably licked a shit ton of envelopes.
I'm getting woozy.
Anyways, they had white out there, and I was like, "There's nobody watching me. I'm just gonna
white
paint
out
my
your nails?
nails."
Did they look good? Or to you, at least?
Well, what I did was I had the white out, And then I took a red marker and I made little Canada flags on my nails.
See, now that's actually pretty badass.
That is,
I can
yeah.
appreciate that.
See, I knew a girl. What grade were you in?
I don't know, probably grade 8.
Grade 8, okay. I knew a girl in about, I think it was still elementary, so about grade 5. She didn't paint her nails with white out, but she sniffed it.
No.
Is that kind of the same thing?
Oh, that's totally the same thing. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
She
that's
said
exactly.
She saw a lot of unicorns.
I knew
she said.
a kid. He was in like grade 5, and he was just a weird kid. He was the kid who thought he was an airplane. You know, we all had that kid. You're like, Bill, you're not a garbage truck. Yes, I am. Okay. Anyway, he sniffed white out. Once stapled his finger and thumb together, and also got an eraser stuck up his nose. He was just that kid.
Jesus.
Yeah.
He was never allowed in arts and crafts ever again.
God,
I
no.
stuck a purple bead up my nose when I was like 4.
I think
When I was like
things up
yesterday.
Our nose. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's
It's
almost
like-
coming out.
What can I put in my hole? I'm so lonely.
Purple bead up the nose. Oh wow. Well, this show has just gone completely off the rails, hasn't it?
There you go.
Yeah.
We said we were going to do that.
Yeah, I think it usually happens.
By the way, there's a comedy show called Off the Rails Comedy on Fridays at Railway Club.
Railway Club here
Are
in
you going to
Vancouver.
perform there?
Sometimes I might. It's a bringer show, so you have to bring friends to do it,
So
and
you're
I don't
trying
have
to
any
recruit
friends.
us?
So yeah, if you guys want to go, then I can get a spot. No, but just go to the show because it's really funny comics.
Okay, so what is it called again?
Off the Rails.
Off the rails.
Off the Rails Fridays.
Fridays.
At Railway Club.
Every Friday?
In Vancouver.
Every Friday in Vancouver.
Do you have to wear a costume?
No,
Can we wear a
Yeah.
costume?
absolutely.
Does it have to cover?
You will probably get talked to by comedians
Oh, yeah.
about, like, people will probably riff off you if you. It depends on the costume.
I want to show up in like a full Cookie Monster costume, sit in the front row, and when the comedian starts to make it a bit, be like, "Bro, I just came here to relax, man. I'm being me.
Yeah.
This
I've had
is
a rough day at work."
me. Do you have to do this? I'm with my girl, man. You're making me look like a jerk."
Yeah, this is my first
See,
date. This is the first date here.
You guys are exactly what we want.
Now, I've gone to a few comedy shows, and there's always I've never heckled, which is I find comedy's weird. It's like the one art form where it's some people just think it's okay to in the background go, and then and nobody else. Like if you were at a theater and somebody was like, "Fuck the Titanic, Leo DiCaprio should die," you'd be like, "Shut up, I'm watching the movie." But at a comedy show, everybody just kind of sits there and waits for the comedian.
I
to
think
deal
they
with it.
wait because
Yeah.
they want the professional to absolutely destroy this person that deserves it. Now, going off of that, though,
Yeah.
how would you handle a heckler? Like, do you actually welcome it? Or is it kind of like, fuck, he's screwing me up? This
Yeah, to be completely honest, I'm probably at a point where not so much. But I mean, it depends on what the heckler says, right? Like sometimes it's easy. Like I've had people like yell out to me, like, you know, drunk guys, like drunk old men, like yell out like "take your top off" or something like that.
Really? That shit happens?
I've had it happen. It doesn't happen all the time, but it has happened. Or like "love me," and then I'll be like, "not if you buy me dinner first," or like whatever, like stupid shit like that. Just like, but then it's like some people, you know, it depends on what the heckler says. Sometimes you have a good end. Some people are really good, and I know people who actually like have their backup things that they say to handle hecklers with.
I was going to say, do you have like ammo to go to if a heckler starts up? Like, do you actually work on material for hecklers?
No, well, I don't personally. I mean, sometimes I have daydreams when I'm laying alone in my bed, and I think about like a heckler, and I just like, he says like this one thing, and I have like this perfect comeback, but it never works
I'm going
like
to
that.
shoot him in the head.
But the thing is
comeback.
that the best thing about hecklers is most of the time they do the work for you because
Yeah.
they suck and they're just so easy to make fun of, and they're usually like really drunk or whatever have you, so you can just deal with it. But I mean, I don't really get too many hecklers.
Because I have to say, as an audience member, when I hear a heckler, obviously I feel bad for the comedian. And I'm just thinking like, I wish this person would just shut up. But if a comedian doesn't handle it well, it's even worse.
Oh no, it sucks. My biggest thing is why I don't like hecklers is because I have a memory problem. Like half the time, like when I'm up on stage and I look very serious when I'm trying to make jokes, is because I'm thinking in my head of what the next line I need to say is, you know. And so like when a heckler comes in, it's throwing me off. And
do you ever bring your jokes up on stage, like on a piece of paper? Because I've known
it happens.
Comedians do that sometimes, and
I like open mics and stuff. Yeah, when I'm working out new stuff.
Is that something you want to work towards, like get steering away from? Like,
oh yeah, no, totally. I mean, I'll never do it at a comedy club. I'll never bring up notes at a comedy club. Mm-hmm. You know, I did it in this one circumstance when I had like a fake article I wrote and I read it off, which I was trying to, but I only did the set like maybe 2 or 3 times before I got rid of it. And so I just kept reading. It was just kind of like my blanket with that. But like my thing is that like I always forget like how to beat out my jokes properly sometimes. And I mean, like if I do it, basically, like last year, I didn't go up on stage enough because it'd be like a month between every show because I was working in film so much. So my memory would be bad. But like when I'm doing like 5 shows a week, like when I become a full-time comic, it's going to be a lot easier for me to do that shit. It's just right now I need an income.
So there's basically a memory muscle to it where eventually you get to the point. In my mind, one of the greatest, I don't know, put downs of hecklers ever. I don't know if you guys have ever seen. It's a great video to YouTube. It is Bill Burr gives Philly a talking to. Mm-hmm. And I know you're not the biggest Bill Burr fan.
No, I like Bill Burr. I do.
Okay, wait, if I may say, and it's a shame nobody can see this. That was a fucking fantastic pour. Amanda just poured
2 inches right there. See that? You
right
do
there.
The 2-finger.
That should be in a beer
test
commercial.
For the head.
Yeah,
perfect 2-finger.
That's a great pour.
Thank you.
That's a great
Thank
pour.
you.
Can we get a picture of that? I'm going to put that
alcoholism
on this
is
episode. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll eventually see.
I was totally not drinking this month, and then John was like, "Come on the podcast."
Yeah.
I'm like,
we make every person on this show drink a lot.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a prerequisite.
Not a lot, but enough that when Matt was here, he had to hang around for a bit afterwards.
He started crying and said he loved us. That's how much he drank.
That wasn't the beer.
Yeah.
All right, time to go now, and we kind of shoved him out.
So,
lock the door.
So with that muscle memory and going back kind of to Bill Burr, that was arguably one of the best. Like he did almost an entire set, which was just insulting these people who had insulted the comedians for hours before. Do you ever have those moments where that muscle memory? So say there is that the jerk off who, this is a horrible thing for a shitty idea for a heckler to shout, but like, yeah, that's what she said from the back row.
Yeah.
After a while of getting that, do you just get your "that's what she said" muscle tweaked where you're like, yeah, no, that she is your mom or whatever? That's not a good. Please nobody heckle me.
Sometimes you really want it to happen. Like sometimes there's that one person in the audience that is either like, whatever. There's just that one person whose face you can see and you just want to like punch that face like so hard. And like sometimes
there's always that one guy that's just there that made a decision. I want to ruin this.
Yeah. And you're thinking in your head, like whether he's just talking to his friends or anything, but it's like, the thing is that it's really, I mean, you can always tell people like, be quiet. This is a comedy show, but until they start saying something to you is when you can start destroying them. Right. So sometimes there's so many times I've been on stage where like, there's this one guy who's being loud in the background and isn't like even in the show at all and not even involving himself in the show and completely ignoring it and being really loud and destructive. But, and sometimes like there has been times I've called them out or whatever, but there's those times when you're really ready for it and then it just doesn't happen. But
so like, you were talking earlier about like you'll have moments where you're just thinking, oh, you know what? If he said this, then I would say this, and I would fucking destroy
Yeah.
him. Because that's, I mean, I think we all have those moments in the shower where you're like, you know what? If Darren says such and such to me again, I know exactly what I'm going to say. And if Darren was standing right here,
Yeah,
and you
yeah.
know what, Darren, you're not so big because back in, and you build
Yeah.
this great argument.
See,
And I'm guessing, like real life, they never say that perfect
Exactly,
thing.
they
You
don't.
always have something, and then they say, "Yeah, that's what
my
he
thing
said."
is that I hate myself way more than the majority of people do. So I always come
Okay.
up with the worst insults in my head and
Okay.
like very specific things because I
Like details,
Like-
which makes people feel uncomfortable.
yeah.
So you're waiting for the heckler in the back row to go, "The reason your dad missed your 7th birthday is because he was disappointed you could never ride your bicycle like a proper kid." And you're
Exactly.
going, I know what I'm going to
Yeah.
say to him.
It's like, no one will ever love you. Like, no one's ever said that to me. If somebody did say that to me, I would have.
Except for your parents.
So would
Yeah.
you like
Other than
us
that,
to
no
go
one
to
else
your
said
next
that.
show and you can give us a list of like things to say
Well,
and we'll
that
yell
would
them from the
just be
back
weird.
row and then you just destroy us and people you'll end up in YouTube and you'll be like, did you see what a fucked up insult these assholes from the back row, like nobody would ever love you, who says that? And she destroyed them.
And then they'd see your faces, and then they'd go through my Facebook profile, and they'd be like, friends since 2010.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do
did
like that at no point in that story did you admit anyone would listen to this show.
Yeah.
They're going to do some Facebook research. Sean and John? What? Is that even on iTunes? Fuck
Yeah.
that.
Who?
Fuck that. I have a question to ask.
Uh-huh.
Is it still okay to laugh at old Bill Cosby stuff?
Ooh.
I mean,
Because at the point of this recording, he's been charged. He hasn't gone to jail. There's been no court.
But he's been
God
arrested.
knows- if you're listening to this in the future.
I think...
Hello from the past!
Yeah, I think the majority of people just avoid his stuff. But I think the interesting part about listening to Bill Cosby stuff now is like there's like a bit called Spanish Fly, which is literally about drugging women.
Yeah.
And this is a Bill Cosby
Yeah, he
bit.
did this bit
Yeah.
about slipping Spanish fly to women. Which,
Yeah, like years
nowadays
ago.
is fucked up.
And now you watch this and you're like, wow, he was an expert at being.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
he was. I mean,
Yeah.
guilty until proven innocent. But we all know OJ did it too.
And there's other bits that have like these undertones where you're just like, whoa, rapist.
Now, but a certain amount of that is going to be.
I was
like,
laughing at it, but now he's a rapist.
I was
Yeah.
so I was visiting my family over Christmas, and we were watching like our family Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm.
Go around quick. What's your family Christmas movie, Sean?
Jingle all the way.
With Arnold
With
Schwarzenegger,
Arnold Schwarzenegger,
and Sinbad? Boss. What's your like?
Die Hard.
Nice. I can respect
Totally.
that. Happens at Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. Ours is
What's
this-
his line in it?
Which one? There's
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfuckers?
There you go. Yeah,
Or,
that
come
tells
on
me
to the
Christmas,
coast.
doesn't it? It does.
Yeah.
When he
So
says that,
Christmas.
does the family hug each other? It's like
That's
we're
how-
here together.
I mean,
This is the
that's how
holidays now.
my family
Tears.
works.
Yippee ki
It's like, yeah, it's like terrorists fighting terrorists. Yeah, that's kind of like the metaphor of like my
They weren't
family
terrorists though.
at
They were
Christmas.
thieves, right? Trying to steal bearer bombs.
I think
or
they
some
were
shit.
trying to.
That movie's
like,
so
I think
fucked up.
I think the police were
So
like calling
fucking
them
awesome.
terrorists.
Do you guys remember reading that in film school? That was one of the
Yes.
scripts, and that was
Die
like
Hard?
Die
Yes.
Hard. That is seriously one of the best scripts. It is just so simple and perfect.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
It is to the point. It is tight.
and it's by the book. You know, just the
And it's
contrast
so
of the
80s.
hero and the antagonist. You know, it was brilliant.
Absolutely.
Okay, so that was your
Oh, yeah.
Christmas.
Yeah.
What's
so
yours?
ours, which brings this whole thing back to like shit was different in the 70s and 80s, was our family Christmas movie is this thing called One Magic Christmas. It's with Mary Steenburgen. Mary Steenburgen, that's how you pronounce her name. Ted Danson's former wife. Anyway,
Okay,
I'm not up to date on my pop culture, but anyway, Mary Steenburgen and
that's up to date.
and the creepy old guy from this show. I'm just gonna. Hey, it's the creepy old guy from that show with the guy who was in Twister, but wasn't the guy from Alien. Anyway, Harry Dean Stanton's in it, Mary Steenburgen, and it's a story of a woman who doesn't believe in Christmas, and in the end, she does. But
it's about me.
But there's so many moments in the '80s where you're like, you know what? This movie's only 30 years old, but you couldn't say that shit. It opens with them going through a mall, and the kid's like, I want to go sit on Santa's lap, and she's
And
like,
Bill Cosby is Santa.
he's like, come sit on this lap with us, a boing. That was a really bad Bill Cosby.
Was that his
That was-
boner or something?
That was
I wasn't gonna say
that was his
anything,
erect
but-
penis.
That was just for
as he
everybody
was
that's
dressed as
listening.
Santa
That was an
Claus. Yeah.
erect penis, because every time an erect
Oh,
penis
my
happens,
Lord.
it goes boing.
But it, just to clarify the picture, it was Bill Cosby's erect penis as he wore a Santa suit in a mall asking a young girl in a 1980s movie. So it's like
Covered in pudding.
height of Cosby
Okay, we've gone
show.
too far.
Oh no, we haven't gone far enough. It's height of Cosby show when we all still loved him in a nice sweater. Bill Cosby dressed as Santa with a great sweater.
And we trusted the drinks he made.
Boing, oing, oing. Anyway, that's. I don't.
what
I
was
don't
this
feel
movie?
So bad. So here is the fucking point: is that she says, "I want to go sit on Santa's lap," and she says, "Like Allie, if you, ask one more time, I'm gonna smack you." And they just keep walking through the mall. And I was thinking, if you just said to a kid today, "I'm gonna smack you," there'd be 5 other parents who go like, "You can't do that and say that." to
Oh,
your child."
child services would be right
there
there.
were so many things
They'd,
where like a kid would run
fold
away and
the
they go,
kid
she'll come home.
with like a little burlap like blanket and be like, "Here, have some quinoa."
yeah, exactly. Is your do you need to go to a safe place? Is your spirit okay? But there were so many things just watching that movie again where I was like, holy shit, that was only 30 years ago. But the shit you could say, and just smacking a kid was far from it. There was crazy shit in that where you're like,
Back then,
Now you-
parents would applaud the smack. They'd be like, yeah, do it, do it.
That
Smack
kid
him."
probably fucking
Yeah.
deserved it. So obviously, when you watch, like, if you watch an old, like Andrew Dice Clay is a great example. If he could not make it today, he'd just be a misogynist pig. But in the 80s, for like 5 years, he was on top of the game. So you could just say different things. So I wonder how much, when you watch Bill Cosby talk about Spanish fly and drugging women, how much of it is, because I've watched Richard Pryor talk about Spanish fly, and he isn't up on charges for anything. And that made it sound like I'm trying to exonerate Bill Cosby, which
Richard
I'm not.
Pryor is also dead.
Well, I know, but a lot of people are dead. But Lenny Bruce dropped F-bombs.
Yeah.
Faggot this, faggot that, in all his stuff. But I wouldn't say he was homophobic. If you listen to his stuff, he was amazingly progressive.
Yeah.
It was just like the fucking 60s.
Well, the thing with like what I always say with comedy is that when you're talking about shitty things, like when, like, to use rape jokes for example, you're bringing a discussion out there. You're talking about something that people don't want to talk about. You're bringing it to light. The people that are leaving your comedy show, like a guy does a rape joke, it's really offensive, whatever, the guy bombs. Then a couple is watching it, they leave the comedy show. Then all of a sudden the boyfriend asks the girlfriend, "Hey, have you been raped before?" And then they have a 2-hour long conversation that really opens up the guy's mind. In an ideal world, that's how it works,
I agree.
you know?
So is there anything? George Carlin once did a bit where he said, nothing's not funny, and he told what I would believe is a funny rape joke. And he said,
Right.
if you don't think rape can be funny, just imagine Elmer Fudd raping Porky Pig, and that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So and
Might
his
as well throw bestiality in there too.
why not? And gay bestiality. They're like ring it, and just fucking stick an American flag in Porky the Pig's ass. Do it all the way. But his point was that it's about how you tell the joke. He wasn't saying, haha, rape is funny. He was putting 2 cartoon characters in a horrific situation and making you laugh at them.
Yeah.
So in your mind, is there anything where you're like, you know what, that's just never funny. Don't ever talk about that. Don't.
I think it's exactly what you're saying George Carlin said. There's always a way to make it funny, and there's a way to protect yourself too. Like, I mean,
You
even,
actually put a shield?
even
Like-
no,
They throw beer bottles. Jesus Christ.
no, but like even in Louis C.K.'s infamous rape joke where he said, rape isn't funny, and there's no reason why you should rape somebody unless maybe you want to fuck them and they won't let you.
It's a good joke.
Like, he says rape isn't funny right away. And actually, I don't need to promote this show because it's sold out, but just on the topic, I am doing a show called Rape is Real and Everywhere.
What's the date?
The 21st at Hot Art Wet City.
Okay, that's already passed because this episode comes out in the 25th. So if you're listening to
Okay,
this
it was
episode,
great. The show was great.
you
Killed it. You had so many rape jokes, but they're amazing.
Anyways, I did the show about rape and it went well. Great. But anyways, if I actually recorded this after, I'd be able to tell you my observations about how
How
the
it went.
world. Yeah, how it went.
What's
but
the-
I
what's
don't
the
know
21st?
because we're in the future.
We are in the future.
We are. It's pretty awesome. Time machines are great.
Yeah.
That was kind of a shitty thing for me to do, hey?
It's okay.
As a comedian,
Well,
though,
you're a
quote,
shitty person.
Quote George Carlin and be like, do you disagree with George Carlin?
Yeah, no, I think that the way you do it, I mean, I'm a comedian, so I will always stand up for the right to tell a joke about something.
So I guess what you're saying is there's no boundaries, but tread carefully.
Yeah, I mean, you have to keep in mind that, when, like, the feminist perspective is that you don't, when it comes to rape jokes and stuff like that, is that younger audiences don't get that it's a joke.
4-year-olds.
Because that's what I heard too, and I know Jerry Seinfeld and Chris Rock were saying they don't like doing college campuses anymore. And they say that the newest generation has come so PC that it's a lot harder for them to do their bits.
It's more so, it's more so the idea though that younger audiences, like, and I mean like 8-year-olds that go on YouTube and watch your videos, they don't get that you're joking. So when you use irony to talk about rape, they don't get that rape is wrong. They just see this guy they look up to.
But not even just
saying
about
that
rape,
is
just being
funny.
politically correct. Like, has it come to the point now where we're just as a society so sensitive over things? We don't
of
want to
course.
offend anything.
I don't-
Where there's a lot of red tape now, and we just can't say anything.
Well, I think that when people are getting upset about people to, like, what is offensive and it's with comics, I think that they're getting mad at the wrong people. I don't think the comedians should be the ones that are in the doghouse for doing jokes about certain subjects. I think that,
Or does,
you
is it
know,
maybe this
you
generation
should be getting mad at the reason why these things happen.
or does maybe this generation, especially like the teenage generation, maybe it's just so obscured that they don't quite understand what they're defending.
That's a whole big thing about like the tail end of the millennial generation and how they've been raised. And there's, massive socio-political. You know what? All I'd say is everybody should read Christina Summers, one of the smartest feminists out there, and she'll tell you everything you need to know about why college kids and high school kids today are so fucking shitty.
Well,
Well, there you go.
you know, the way I'd say with like college kids, it's like you have the, I think that, let's be real, like college atmosphere is date rape central. It is. So it's like if you're doing a rape joke at a college show and there's that table of 5 girls that are freaking out and like calling you names because you're doing a rape joke,
just like,
chances
"Ooh, I
are
just hit a
it's
chord."
because a bunch of their friends just got fucking raped by that douchebag that's on the other side of the audience laughing his ass off.
But there's,
Well-
You know,
I think there's also, I
like,
forget where I heard
sorry,
it.
maybe I'm just cynical, but
No, I agree. I mean, you want to know your audience. It's on the same level. You wouldn't go into a college making jokes about, hey, calculator watches, they're pretty cool. But how great would it be to have a calculator watch? That said, though, I forget where I heard
You
this
have it
once,
on your phone.
Somebody,
by the way.
I know. Anyway, that's a whole other complaint I
I
have.
don't know, maybe we're
But no, somebody once told me that there's no such thing as too soon. There's only not funny.
yeah. I agree with that.
And I remember when Dane Cook made a joke about it was one of the Batman movies. I think The Dark Knight, where the guy went into the theater dressed as Joker and like shot and killed 25 people.
Colorado.
Thank you. And Dane Cook made a joke about how he was like, that movie was so shitty, I guarantee halfway through there were at least 25 people in that audience going, oh my God, kill me now. And it got booed and he got lambasted on social media but I firmly believe if somebody like Carlin or like a very negative comedian like CK or somebody who just says, oh, the world's shit, and we go, ha ha, ha, it is. I wonder if they could have told that same joke with more skill.
If you did a
and just
more
made it funny.
clever platform.
Yeah, so on that level, I think if you go into a university today and understand how to appeal to the nugget in their head that examines rape, then you can make that rape joke, and it's probably going to have to be way more sophisticated than Porky Pig fucking Elmer Fudd.
I think the difference with rape jokes, yeah, I get it. I think the thing with rape jokes is like to use the Daniel Tosh joke thing, for example, is when he's doing a joke, a rape joke, and then a girl heckles him, and then he says, "Wouldn't it be really funny if she got raped after the show?" That's not funny.
No, I agree.
That's not funny.
That was
Yeah.
his joke. He's not funny though.
Yeah.
He isn't. I'm
I
sorry, I'm not a
get
fan
him.
of him.
Some people like him.
But
I don't get him.
I think the thing is that if it's a structured joke and it's like, the gang rape is automatically funny because it's the rule of threes, so it's more than three people. So, like that idea.
I never thought of that before.
That that's a premise that I can't remember who did that, but I think it might have even been Daniel Tosh, and then nobody got it because the rule of three thing, whatever. Anyways, whatever, just fucking, you have your soapbox, but the thing is that with comedy, what the problem is now in this generation is the people that are gonna hear your stuff are not necessarily your market audience anymore, because there's YouTube and there's all these other ways that somebody's just going to be like, oh, this really offended me, I'm going to show all my friends. And then it turns into a big deal. But when it boils down to the people who bought tickets, even Bill Cosby, the people who are buying tickets to a Bill Cosby show love the shit out of Bill Cosby and will be the first one to say, I don't care if you rape people, whatever, I don't think he raped anybody, you're the best, put your sweater on, like whatever. Like those fucking people, like, you're doing your show for the people who are buying your tickets.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And most of the time,
So
it's usually somebody who got dragged to a show that hates it.
So because we have to wrap this episode up, I would say that I would say that your argument is basically fuck the haters.
Yeah, I mean, I've been assaulted. I'm not a fan of rape. I'm not a fan of racism. I'm not a fan of bigotry. I'm not a fan of any of
That
those
would be
things.
a shitty fan club to be a part of.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
if you
yeah.
were. A
What are
fan.
you guys into? Racism?
Yeah, I mean,
rape,
I'm
a huge
bigotry.
fan
I'm
of rape.
definitely
Racism's
against
pretty
all
cool.
those things, but I think that, I'm the first one to say that, like, if rape jokes didn't happen, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now.
Well put.
So
on that, this episode hasn't been that many laughs, but it was kind of a serious. We had some serious. We had some good laughs.
whatever. I'm not drunk enough yet.
No, that'll be next episode. Next week we're going to do our advice episode, and that's always a whole bunch of laughs. But you know what? We touched on some pretty important stuff here, and I hope that somebody listening went, you know what? God damn it, they're right. And I hope they said it in that voice, and then their partner was
But
like, why are you talking like that?
if anything horrible has happened to you in the past, I'm sorry, and get some safe counseling.
Always get help. There's a network out there if you want it.
Not dangerous counseling.
Yeah.
Safe counseling. There's two.
Be safe and, get some help. Everybody cares about you.
So if you want to learn more about Sean and John, go to. I feel cheap saying this after.
Well,
what we
you're
talked about,
cheap.
but I am. I'm a cheap whore. If you want to learn about us, go to seanandjohn.com, or you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at John Sobey. You can find Sean on Instagram at McGreevySean44. And if you want to talk to Amanda,
Just get a bird and a can and see what happens.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, write a note.
Yeah.
Or there's there was Kingside.
Is there, like,
rail,
a-
off the rail?
Off the rails. Yeah, I mean, I never do the show, but you should go to it
you
because
go.
there's a lot of people funnier than me that do.
All right, let's get out of here. I am John.
I'm Sean.
I'm Amanda.
Goodbye, lovers.